Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Money Savvy Moms Workshop. I'm your host, Esmeralda Luna, Career Pause Coach at New Horizon Moms. A little bit about myself if you're new here. I'm a mom of two. I worked in the chemical industry for 15 years in various roles. I took my career pause in 2023, and last year, I decided to create New Horizon Moms. I created New Horizon Moms because I want to support other mom professionals like myself who have taken a career pause. I want to provide resources to help manage that transition from the work life to home life. I want to provide you with tools and services to support you while you are away from the workforce, and I want to help you be confident when you decide to head back to work or even pivot to create your own business or other project in mind. So today I'll be focusing on two topics. The first is how you can grow your current wealth, and the second is sharing with you ways that you can continue to earn some cash while you're at home. And now that the holidays are coming up, hopefully you'll be able to find a new way to earn a couple bucks here or there so that you can use to buy a gift for yourself or for your family or friends. So let's talk about how can we grow our current wealth. Did you know that around 50% of people who transition to another job leave behind their 401k account? And in this year alone, $31.9 million in 401k accounts, 31.9 million 401k accounts that are worth $2 trillion have been forgotten. So please do not leave your money behind. If you have taken your career pause, please do not leave your money behind. So what can you do? The first thing that I recommend is that you move your 401k from your previous employer into what's called a rollover IRA. The benefits of doing this is number one, you'll remove those administrative fees that your previous employer used to pay, because if you don't, you'll have to start paying them. Number two, you'll avoid tax penalties because that rollover IRA account will still be one that you can continue to grow, but you don't have to pay taxes on that growth yet. And you will be able to have more control over the money that's in that particular account. For example, when I used to work and when my 401k account was started, I was put in a target fund and it had a particular date that corresponded to when I would be retirement eligible. And so now that I have my rollover IRA, I'll be able to make decisions on how I want to invest that money. Now, something that quite didn't click for me when I stepped away from the workforce is that although I had moved my money over to a rollover IRA, that didn't mean that my money was going to continue to be invested in those accounts where it was previously. So what I did was I read up on stocks, I read up on investing, I looked to YouTube to educate myself, I looked for influencers who talked about finance and investing, and here are some of the top things that I've learned from having done all of that research and trying to learn about this area of investing and finances. So I learned that if I didn't invest my money or choose a place for it to go to, it was just going to sit there. And that's definitely not what I wanted to do, especially since now I'm away from the workforce and I'm not able to contribute money into that retirement account. So I learned that if I bought stock that paid dividend, so think of it as you buy stock from a company and over a quarter, if the company does well, they will pay a certain amount of cents on a particular share of stock. And I also learned that if I bought index funds. So an index fund is something where it's a group of many different stocks that a particular manager or group of managers finances and they manage. And so what they do is they help to grow your money when you invest it in that particular index fund. And so some common ones are those that are invested in S&P 500 companies. And so I learned that I could put my money in those index funds, but I had to make sure that I would choose ones that had lower fees, because otherwise, even if I picked an index fund or another type of fund out there that gave me a great return on my investment, likewise, my fees would also be that much higher. So those are two things that I started to pay attention to. The other thing to keep in mind is how much money should you have in the stock versus how much should you have in safer assets, like for example, bonds. So one rule of thumb I came across is you take the number 100, you subtract your current age, and that percentage will tell you how much money should be in stocks, ideally. And the rest should be placed in bonds or safer assets. So this best practice makes sense because as you get older, you would want more of your wealth to be in safer assets as opposed to being in stocks that are at higher risk. And one time I was watching an interview from one of the sharks. If you're familiar with the Shark Tank program, this particular shark is Kevin O'Leary, that you can see his picture on the screen. And he provided an investment tip that I think is simple, but I think is very powerful. He shared how his mother was able to accumulate so much wealth when she invested in the stock market. And he shared that she invested no more than 5% in one particular stock. And if we look at a particular segment, so for example, this could be the tech, pharmaceutical, manufacturing, real estate, that no more than 20% of stock purchased in one segment is what she would allow. And so this helped her diversify her assets, or her money was put into all of these different buckets. So even if one segment was not doing well one quarter, another one it could have offset those losses. And the same thing with the different types of stock that his mother invested in. So I think that's a very wise piece of advice and want to share with you all as well if you want to delve more into the world of stocks. Now, let's say that this is all a little bit over your head, or you just don't have time to be watching the stock market and making those changes on your own. But you also recognize that if you go through a financial advisor, their fees may be high, and you want to find an option that you can still continue to grow that hard-earned money that's in your now rollover IRA account. One tool that I found along the way is what's called a robo-advisor. So just as we've seen the AI take over all these different segments and start to penetrate them, and you can find new tools and how they are revolutionizing many industries, the same thing is happening here in the financial world. So with this robo-advisor, what it is, it's think of it as an algorithm where you can tell it, these are my financial goals, this is my expected retirement date. It will take that information from you and it will make those investing decisions for you. So this is a nice way where you can be still hands off, but you can have the understanding that this robo-advisor will be making those decisions for you and will making those changes that a financial advisor could be making for you. So this not only will meet the goal of growing your retirement account money, but you can also do it at a cheaper cost than if you went to a financial advisor. So some places where you can find robo-advisors are Fidelity Go, Vanguard Digital Advisor, and SoFi is a national bank that also offers these robo-advisors. So my recommendation for you is if you're interested, take a look at what's out there and see which one of these robo-advisors best suits your needs. So another way we can grow our current wealth is through what's called a spousal IRA. So just because you're not working, that doesn't mean that you can't continue to grow an account for yourself for retirement. Now, it's not going to be called a spousal IRA in the system in which you create it. It will be either called a traditional or a Roth IRA account, and they will grow based on the terms and conditions that either of those accounts have set out and how they work. So the eligibility to have a spousal IRA account is that you need to be married and you need to file taxes jointly, and the spouse's income needs to be at least equal to the total contributions to both spouses' IRAs. So this year in 2025, your spouse can contribute $7,000 into your IRA account, and your spouse can also contribute $7,000 to their account for a total of $14,000. Now, if you're over age 50, you can contribute $8,000 into your account, and your spouse can contribute $8,000 as well into their account for a total of $16,000. So this, I found, is a great way for us who are taking a career pause to be able to continue to contribute to those retirement accounts. And this last way that I'm going to share with you is called a high yield savings account. Now, how does this vary from a traditional savings account? The biggest difference is the percentage rate of interest that you gain. So the ones out there in the market, you can get up to 3.4 all the way up to 5% interest by placing your money in these high yield savings accounts. And that compared to the national average of 0.4% interest earned, that's a big difference. And so I made that step, and I've seen a huge difference in the amount of savings I can get each month from the savings I did have prior to my career pause. And my money is working for me, and it's doing a lot better than if I would have let that money sit in a traditional bank account. Like, for example, in my case, it was a credit union. So I'm glad I made that change so that my money is working harder for me. So now we're going to take a pause here. We've talked about ways that you can continue to grow your current wealth. And now we're going to switch gears and talk about what are ways that you can make some cash this holiday season so that you can have a little something extra for yourself and for your friends or family. So did you know that you can get paid for activities that you do every day? Here are two platforms where you can get cash back for grocery purchases. The first one is Ibotta, and the second one is Checkout 51. So essentially how these work is you use an app to identify groceries that are on promotion or that will earn you points on these platforms. And as you purchase them, you'll be able to get that cash back. And so that's really helpful nowadays with groceries being so expensive. So here are two ways that you can earn some cash back from your groceries. You can also earn cash back from scanning receipts, whether that be from a grocery store. Some of these will take receipts for gas, for anywhere where you get a receipt. These are some common platforms that you can use, and you'll be able to accumulate points to get cash back. So for example, Fetch is one, Receipt Pal, Receipt Hog, and Point Out. I've personally used Fetch and Receipt Pal, and I've gotten good use. The only thing with these is you have to be diligent about scanning your receipts. Don't throw them away. And when you do scan them, you want to make sure that when you take a picture with your phone and it's uploaded into their system, they need to be able to read all the information on the receipt. So if it's not legible, they could reject a receipt. So it's kind of hit or miss with those things, but over time you could rack up enough points to get $5 payout either through PayPal or Venmo. Some of these give you Amazon gift cards or to other stores. So that's another way you can make some quick cash with those receipts you're getting from your purchases. The same thing can be done with fuel purchases as well. Gas Buddy is a common one. The same with Upside, TrueNow, and Checkout 51 that I mentioned earlier also now accepts receipts from fuel purchases. So again, several of these, if you're going out of town or on a trip, it'll let you know what gas station nearby is going to give you the lowest price gas, and along the way rack up some cash back from having made a fuel purchase at that particular gas station. So that comes in handy. So the next topic I'll share of where you can earn some cash is getting paid for your opinion and your knowledge. So now there are tons of places where you can go to take surveys online and you can get paid for it. Places like User Testing, Survey Junkie, LifePoints, Prime Opinion, 5Surveys, Hey Piggy, Swagbucks, Pinecone Research, Inbox Dollars, IPOS. I'd say there are tons of places where you can take these surveys. Each of them have their system of how they work and how you need to work in their system when it comes to taking surveys. My personal experience is with LifePoints and Survey Junkie. LifePoints I found to be fairly easy to use, as well as Survey Junkie. And in particular, in LifePoints, I've taken surveys with companies repeatedly. And so now I've even been given the opportunity to take these types of surveys online where someone will interview me and I'll give an opinion. And so I've received a much higher payout than the $10 a day payout that I could have gotten likewise. So several of these are easy to get into. You can take the survey on your phone, on your computer. So if you have a free moment in your day, you can answer a couple of these and be able to earn a couple bucks. And as far as payout, the same goes with the other platforms I share, whether it's through PayPal or you can get a gift card from Amazon, Walmart, Target, and so forth. I think one of these also even donates to charity if you want, but there are some really good platforms here that I recommend you look into if you're interested. Now, let's say that you are a particular expert in a certain field where you were working prior to your career pause. You could get paid for providing that knowledge and insight you have to other industries who are looking for folks like you that have that insider knowledge. Now, the companies that you see here, GLG, Maven, Expert 360, TopTal, ConsultPort, and Catalant, all of these companies look for consultants, so people that have an expertise in a certain area, whether it's marketing, sales, engineering, technology, you name it. If you have that expertise, you can apply to all of these companies except for GLG. And if you're accepted into their program, you can be contacted to either provide a consulting service over the phone, over video, or even answer a survey online. If it comes to surveys, you can expect to get about $50 per survey online. And if you're asked to do a video consultation or a phone consultation, you can get up to $200 an hour or more for that time that you spend with one of their clients. In the case of GLG, usually you are invited to join their organization because they've found that you have expertise in a certain area, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't apply to be in their program. So I definitely recommend one of these if you have expertise in a certain field, and you can definitely be compensated for that knowledge that you have. Of course, one thing I will mention to keep in mind is that when you work as a consultant for one of these companies, you want to make sure that you do not share any information that is confidential from a previous employer that you are not to share with other companies. And so these companies here listed on the screen will remind you of those requirements as you're working with future clients of theirs. And now moving into a completely different segment, did you know that you can get paid to rent your things? So we'll look at some different categories. The first is getting paid to rent baby items. I know when I took my first trip with my son, I didn't want to get on an airplane because I was thinking of all the things I had to bring to make sure that we would be good on our family trip. And I came across one of these services one day and I thought this would have made my first trip so much easier. Having access to these companies where you can rent either a crib or maybe you need another baby item that you necessarily don't want to purchase at your destination, especially if it's a short vacation. So definitely look into these types of services here like Baby Quip, Babies Away, Babies Getaway, and Traveling Baby Company. And maybe in your area, these may not exist because some of these platforms are more available in the larger cities, but this could be a good idea for you that you might want to start something like this in your local area. You might want to team up with other moms and start a baby rental side hustle. So something to think about. The same goes for renting tools or equipment. The three examples here, Fat Llama, Rent My Equipment, and Loanables, these are places where if your spouse or if you've got a tool or something that you don't mind to rent out to others, that is something popular, you can list on these sites and be able to make some extra cash that way. For example, Loanables, you can also rent things for weddings. So maybe it's camera equipment, or if they need a certain backdrop, those sorts of things where parties, weddings, those sorts of big events need. This is also a place where you can rent out your things. Renting a car is not a new concept. It's been around for many years. Now the platforms where you can rent your car have definitely grown. You'll see Turo as being one of the first ones that came out with this type of service. Now you have Getaround, Car Share, Drive Share, and now even Uber does rentals. So if you have a car that you're not using during the day, or even a higher end luxury car that just goes out, you don't have much use during the week, this is another opportunity for you to make some extra cash as well. And the next category I'll focus on is you can get paid to resell your items. So one big area is reselling your children's items. So I've listed here some companies that have national presence, like Once Upon a Child. Another one that I found was KittyZen, of course, Facebook Marketplace, which has been around for a long time. And check in your local area to see if you have a local kids consignment store. You can also resell your things too if there are things that no longer fit, or you're looking to change out your wardrobe. This is a way also that you can recuperate some cash from your personal items as well. So I've listed here platforms like Mercari, Poshmark, ThredUp, eBay, Facebook Marketplace as well. And as far as stores where you could take your items, Plato's Closet is an option. And again, if there's a local consignment store near you, that's also a great place. So I personally have had success with Mercari and Poshmark. These platforms online can be time consuming when you have to take pictures and put descriptions, but once you're able to get out there and make a couple sales and you have good customer service, getting the goods over to the people that purchase them, you'll build a good presence online and you'll have a greater probability of people wanting to buy more things from you. So I definitely recommend it, and it's something that while it can be time consuming, it's a good way to get rid of things that are in your closet, or clean out your closet and make some extra cash. So I've shared many ways that you can make extra cash, and that's great. Now, which one do you think is right for you? So I've come up with the Savvy Moms Income Generation Guide. I've compiled a guide that has all of these items that I talked about briefly. And in this guide, you'll get a description of what these income generating ideas are. You'll find out what are the pros and cons so you can make a decision as to whether this might be a good app for you to use to make some extra cash or not. And I've provided a link for every option so that it's kind of a click and go. You're ready to go and open the app or open the website so you can create your account and start making cash today. So I've put a link in my bio on Instagram for you to purchase this guide if you're interested. Now, as I was putting together this talk for you, I saw the importance of helping moms who are on career pauses understand the importance of continuing to grow their wealth, especially while they are away from the workforce. So I am working on another guide for you called the Financial Growth for Savvy Moms: Build Wealth with Confidence, because I want you to have a roadmap of steps that you can take so that when you are ready either to head back to the workforce, or perhaps you want to start your own business or go off and do a new project, you will have that financial wealth to back you up. And this time away from the workforce will be empowering in that sense that you are knowledgeable about where to make those strategic decisions, to invest your money, to grow your money. And that just opens the door for new opportunities as well. So if you're interested, please send me your email address. I'll share it here at the end, and I'll get you on the wait list when this guide will be available. And third, let's say you're a mom who has a goal of making $1,000 from these side hustle ideas, but you're not quite sure which ones are the best, and you don't want to just kind of try one thing here and there. You want someone to help you come up with a plan that you can take and run with and meet that financial goal that you're looking for. Well, I can help you make that happen. So what I will offer you is a coaching call. Well, I will first have an intake form for you to tell me what are your goals, what are you interested in, what would you like to explore, what things would you not want to touch, and I'll sit down with you and we'll come up with a plan to help you meet that financial goal. And so if that's of interest of you, this coaching opportunity is available, and you can reach out to me directly if you are interested. Thank you for joining the Savvy Moms Money Workshop. I hope that the information that I shared will help you find one new way to make some extra cash this holiday season, or for you to find one new way that you can continue to grow your wealth. As always, I'm here to support you, a mom who is taking a career pause. So you can get in touch with me either through Instagram at New Horizon Moms, on LinkedIn, look for the New Horizon Moms page. And of course, you can always email me at newhorizonmoms@gmail.com. Thank you for joining, everyone. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.